Welcome to part 2 of this video. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, it is also available in this channel for your view. Discussion about the recycle materials here, and we are going to go now into the garden to discuss further about what is going on in our zero garbage garden. So you can come with us. We're going to leave this right here. This job is complete and ready to be disposed tomorrow. Now let's see other stuff in the zero garbage garden. Now we are going to talk about this unit right here. This is called a composter. Have you ever heard about a composter before?
I heard about a composter before, but I did not have the opportunity to see one live. I never even saw it on TV. But when I came here and I saw my sister, she had one, I was like, wow, where did you get this? This is amazing. Because gardening is something, it's my passion. I love doing gardening. And I did not have the opportunity to have a composter because I would also love to emulate her example and to serve everything. In the past, what I did, I had a little bed in my backyard where I would put, my plantain peels, the yard work. I just put everything there and I'll cover it. And that's how I serve, my waste. That was
that is how you try to reduce the amount of waste you are putting in the environment.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm so impressed about what she just said. She also owns a home in Missouri. As you know, one of our roles is to inspire people who are homeowners and have backyards to develop a little section where they can garden and practice recycling of their kitchen waste. So she says she has always been interested. She has heard about a composter before, but she has never known what one looks like. This is her first time. She visited us. We're having a party and we invited her from Missouri, Texas. She actually from Texas, but her home is the home she owns is in Missouri. Yes. So she is seeing this unit for the first time and she's so impressed. That is what we mean by taking this message closer to your circle of friends. Somebody might say, oh, a lot of people out there are talking about recycling and sustainable gardening and this and that and so on and so forth. What I'm telling you right now is this. It takes somebody to carry this message closer to their folks or friends, to their circle, for them to begin appreciating everything that is contained in that message. So if this is the first time she's seeing it live and she has always been hearing about it, then you get what I'm talking about. So this is a composter. If we open this, you can notice all of our kitchen waste from the party yesterday. You know, we were eating all the corn and the vegetables and the bananas and fruits and the salad. Everything ends up inside here. That is where everything ended up.
Okay.
And so we are doing a favor to the environment by keeping this. And you can notice we have a number of them. I'll show you. This is one unit right here, so we can never run out. No matter how much waste we have another unit right here. And there we have one. Now you see, what I want to tell you right now is summer is almost over. Most of our plants are beginning to fade away. As you can see, most of our plants, they are very, very fresh during the summer. You don't have to focus on that too much. We already talk about it other times. Yes. So you can see our sunflower is almost going away.
Do you eat the seeds?
Yeah, the seeds of the sunflower, we could eat them. They are very delicious. But here in the zero garbage garden, we don't eat them. Not because we don't want to, but because we notice that the birds that visit our garden love this a lot.
Okay.
So we are environment friendly. We love to encourage the birds to visit us. So if they are eating that and we have other alternatives, why don't we just leave that for them?
That's great.
At least we have the peppers and they don't eat that. We have the garden eggs and they don't eat that. We have the cocoyam leaves and cheers and so many other variety of things, water leaf and so on. So we just thought to ourselves we should leave this for the birds only. As you can notice, come closer and see. This, you see, notice how the birds have eaten everything. If you go here, you also see the same thing. They have eaten, practically there's no seed left here. This is the only thing that you can think of right now. But they are just those little ones. In a few days, they will be gone.
Okay.
All of these have been removed by birds. All right, if you look at this. See, they have eaten everything. Those are birds feeding on them. So we are environment friendly. We left those ones for them. At one time, my husband mentioned, he said, why don't we collect some of these sunflower seeds, because he loves eating sunflower seeds, and he goes to the dollar store buying them all the time. He said, why don't we harvest this and just fry it or bake it and use it? I said, no, let's leave it there for birds. Yes, let's leave it there for birds. Yes.
Sister, there is one thing that you did that I saw in one of your videos.
What was that?
I knew that you did that, but you did not know the impact, you know.
Oh, please
when
let me know.
When you had to crown the baby. When you had to crown the baby.
Oh, the garden baby shower?
The garden baby shower.
That was something so creative. One day we just came out for our normal hangout in the garden. So we just said to ourselves, the baby is here, right? It's a tradition like the other baby, like 3 years ago when we had Gina, we did the same thing. Why don't we just give the baby a shower? So everybody just, oh yes, great idea, oh yes. So that is what happened.
And when I saw the video, I was like, wow, I just hope the peppers don't touch this baby, because the peppers are not good.
We're being careful, we're being very careful.
There was an idea that came out of it. And I said, maybe she's doing this, she doesn't even know. Now, you know, we have all these kids, you know, they're allergic to this, we're allergic to that, we're allergic to this.
Yes.
And some of those allergic problems is because they don't expose those children to
that kind of environment,
to those plants, you know, to the peanuts or to the leaves. And
when
I'm seeing this baby, I'm seeing this baby, a 3-month-old.
Yeah.
Actually, he was less than 3 months
yes,
old.
He was just about 2
being
months,
exposed to all these things.
Yes.
I'm like, oh yeah, this is how we develop immunity.
Oh,
to
I
a
didn't
baby.
know that. I didn't even know
that.
that.
But the child, you know, the child is already exposed to all these plants.
You see?
And you know, he'll be immune to it.
Oh, great.
So when he grow up, he will not tell you that, Mom, I'm allergic to it.
Oh,
just remember how we grew
I didn't
up.
even know. You see, we just do some of those things spontaneously. And as we're growing up, that is how our parents were exposing us to all those things. And when we grow, you know, a lot of us that grew up in the suburbs, in the gardens and all those things, hardly even have those type of allergies. I didn't even know about this until you're telling me right now.
That's something that you did that was very, very
great.
Magnificent.
Great. And do you notice another thing? Let me tell you something about something new I also learned about the peppers. Okay, so this is our peppers. See how much peppers we have?
Wow.
Look at our peppers. See? These are peppers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just take this one. You can hold one. Okay. I'll talk to you about these peppers right now. There was something that I learned about these peppers yesterday. I've always noticed that our peppers, they are very, very hard.
Yeah.
If you buy pepper in the supermarket, you can put a whole pack, because you know we love eating peppers.
Correct.
So you can put a whole pack in the soup and you still not feel the hardness of the pepper. But in this zero garbage garden, we take one pepper in a big pot of soup. If you are not careful, you will not be able to eat that soup if you are not used to hard stuff. So I was telling somebody yesterday who visited the party, I was telling her that the peppers from this zero garbage garden are so hard. And I don't even understand why the peppers from the stores will not be so hard like these ones. I said maybe it's because they don't allow them to grow long enough. They don't really get ripe before they harvest them. I don't understand what is going on. She said to me, no, my daughter. She said the reason that anything that you grow without chemical, that if you, she just said like that. She said she didn't even think. She just know about it. She said peppers that are grown organically, without any chemicals, without fertilizers, are always very hard. So and I said to myself, oh yeah, wow. I didn't even know. I've been having very hard peppers from this zero garbage garden, but I didn't know that is why they are so hard, because we just don't use any chemicals in our garden, and we never use any fertilizers, and they're all grown organically from our composters. I said, oh, now I understand. Now I understand why our peppers are so hard. She said, yes, pepper that is grown without chemical is very hard.
So here, are we talking about losing the nutritional contents of our plants when we put
if you perceive it that way, that is just the right thing to say. Yes. That means the nutritional content is reduced. It's even adulterated when you use chemicals.
Wow.
My husband told me a story once. He visited a garden And he said the farmer took a tomato. A tomato. This is tomato, right? Let me take one. I will let him tell you the story of the tomato himself. Listen attentively to this shocking story about acidic tomatoes resulting from the use of fertilizers. It is inconceivable.
The farmer took a tomato that was, grown in bulk, where they used.
Yes.
Well, it was grown in bulk where they used chemicals, and he took that tomato that was grown in bulk that had, they grow with chemicals because they have to keep up with other farms. So he took that tomato and he rubbed it on his arm like this, and he developed a rash. So that means that's bad. Whatever was in that tomato is bad, chemical. He took an organic tomato he grew, and he did the same thing on his skin and no reaction whatsoever. So that's why it's so bad about the way they farm these days.
That sounds scary,
What I have for
unbelievable.
you is this, sir. So after going through that experience, what do you think about eating tomato or other fruits coming from the stores?
Well, you really don't know you have no idea what's in them. I mean, the FDA can only do so much, and they can't babysit everybody. So you have no idea what those farms are doing. They can use human waste now for growing plants, which has E. coli. It grows food like amazing, but the problem is you don't know if it hurt you or not. You know what I mean? It's full of E. coli. You really just don't know what you're eating these days. You have no idea.
So it takes me to another problem. Maybe that's why we have so many food recalls. You have vegetables being recalled because of E. coli in it.
Well, we're not careful. If you have cattle near farms where they're growing food, it can get into the water system where they feed the cows the water, or any animal for that matter, and it gets in their it gets in your plants, it gets in your food, and it's a lot to do with like I said, you have cattle that are near these farms, and that gets into their food crops. So that's not good. Coli is a very bad thing. Look it up. It's terrible. It can kill people.
Yeah.
It gets in your water system and everything. It gets in your water supply.
So that also draws us to the importance of using pure compost from composters like those to grow our food, right?
Yes.
I know it's not going to be possible to grow everything, but if you have an opportunity to grow something at least that would reduce the number of visits you make to supermarkets to get stuff that you are not sure of, it's worth doing. Just like we're doing here in the Zero Garbage Garden. We're not telling people don't go to the supermarket anymore, but we are just saying make an effort, right, to improve your health by eating the right stuff. Because I can tell you right now, a lot of us are losing our health because of what we eat. What we eat, if you don't watch what you eat, it's going to steal away your good health, and you have to battle with the rest of it.
Sister, so one thing that I learned from you here,
Yes.
with this trip is making use of my containers.
Yes.
So what I've learned here, when I go back to Texas, I'm going to use my patio. I'm going to go to Walmart. I'm going to buy containers, and I'm going to start my little garden
That
on
is
my
what
patio.
Great.
That's what I'm planning to
Great.
do.
That is exactly how we want to inspire people to do this type of thing. So I'm just so happy you have made up your mind that when you go back to Texas, you are going to take an action, and you are going to use your patio, which is the little space you have right now.
Yes.
And you're going to start something.
That's
and
good.
I'm going to be there to give you the continual support. If you need any additional information, just call me. And please, why don't you share something from the garden? These are garden eggs. We just harvest them directly. You can harvest
You're
yours.
still young, but I'll try this.
Yes. That is the pleasure of being in our garden. Because you can just harvest your fresh stuff. And you can just enjoy them.
Very good.
Stand for
Thank
100.
you.
So how does that feel?
It's so sweet, so you can tell yourself.
Come on.
I don't need to say anything. Just biting through this. It's so succulent. So I don't even know what to say. It's so sweet and natural. Thank you. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure
Thank
visiting
you,
the Zero
sister.
Garbage Garden.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so
Bye-bye.
yet, and also share the video. Cheers.